Hey, everybody, welcome back into another episode of Bears Latest. I'm Brandon, and it is Wednesday, June the 25th. And here's what's going on with your Chicago Bears. So I got to thinking yesterday talking about the SI article that talked about some potential trades or some potential signings that they felt would make the Bears even more competitive and maybe put them over the edge. I got to thinking, we just wrapped up the UFL season like what, a week or two ago, and there's usually like at least the last season or so when we've had these spring leagues, there has been some roster darlings that end up showing up and yeah, have an opportunity to carve out a role on the NFL roster. And we saw that last season with Jake Bates, who had a cannon of a leg and was kicking crazy 60 plus yarders, between the uprights and just absolutely insane and ended up making a difference with the Lions. And I think that there is potential for a few of these guys to potentially carve out roles um, on some of these rosters. And I think the one guy that I thought out of the ones that were being discussed out there was a linebacker by the name of Tavante Beckett. And he played for the San Antonio Brahmas actually the last two seasons now that the UFL has been around. And each season he has been all UFL. So he's an all pro in their league and has shown growth each of those seasons. Just to kind of break it down for you, looking at his 2024 season, so first season in the UFL with the Brahmas, 67 tackles, 9 tackles for loss, a sack and a half, and he had 2 forced fumbles. That's pretty productive. And granted, mind you, there are only 10 games in the regular season, and then they have 3 postseason games. So you're talking 7 less regular season games, and the preseason is about on par right there. So that's pretty high production for only having 10 regular games. Now, as 2025, he increased again. He kept improving 77 tackles, 4 pass breakups, and a sack. So I find that intriguing that the guy is a high tackling machine. He can excel on special teams, has a high motor, and is working hard and showing improvement. He turned out to be, it looks like he came out as a 2021 undrafted free agent, ended up signing with the Lions, and it didn't quite make it there. Obviously, joined in 24 with the UFL. Has had an opportunity to refine his game, and it looks like he might be ready to join back in the NFL again. And I think the Bears taking a flyer on him, especially when you have your number 3 linebacker, that role completely up in the air. Um, he might be a guy that might be a good placeholder for Ruben Hippolyte to come along, and I think it'd be a nice addition. You don't even know, maybe you might consider Tremaine Edmonds a cap casualty if this guy shows up. That would save the Bears quite a bit of money. Edmonds has been underwhelming so far since he's been with the Bears, and this might be an opportunity to find a guy that Dennis Allen can really do something with, and he looks to be teachable and tackling machine. So I think they should go ahead and make an offer and see what he can bring to the table in camp. And I believe they should have one more open spot left on their 90 man going into camp. So this could be an intriguing option. What do you guys think? You like the idea? Check out some of this guy's video. He is a hard nosed tackler, and it looks to be a leader too. You could definitely see that when you're watching some of the footage from this last season, actually the last 2 seasons for that matter. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. So let's continue on. We've talked about linebacker. We started talking about corner yesterday when we talked about Jalen Ramsey as a possible trade target because it sounds like he wants out of Miami. Let's say that the compensation is just too much for the Bears to want to put into getting a 30-year-old corner that could even pose headaches for the Bears down the road once a way out. I didn't even realize this, but back in April, we signed a guy by the name of Nashawn Wright, which, if you've ever heard of Nashawn Wright, he did most of his damage and made a name for himself in Dallas. The first 3 years of his career were in Dallas. And then he spent last season with the Vikings and didn't really do much. Um, but if you look at the talent pool ahead of him, he had definitely had a reserve role. But I think the thing that's very interesting about this, he's already turning heads at organized activities, and he could end up being that next guy that maybe this is the guy that could even outplay Tyreek Stevenson for the number 3 job. Or he could be the number 4. This could be the guy that is going to keep the Bears from having to worry about signing another free agent, and have a guy that is familiar with Al Harris. Because as you know, he was cornerbacks coach or secondary coach there in Dallas. And that's why he had some of his most productive seasons already in his young career, is because of guys like Al Harris and being able to have that opportunity to be on the field, getting the reps. He can play man to man, which is what Dennis Allen wants to do. I think this might be a really good fit. An under the radar signing that could really prove to be beneficial for the Bears. So I know I am interested in watching what Nashawn Wright can do. I think maybe even have a camp competition between him and Tyreek. I would be I would be very shocked if that wasn't the case. Let me know what you think. Do you know much on Nashawn Wright? Do you what do you think about him possibly you know overtaking Tyreek Stevenson as being the number 3, or at least provide good competition that's going to elevate Tyreek's game? Let me know down below. So we go from Nashawn Wright to Miles Boykin. I had to, I had to get a refresher actually earlier today to ever remember that Miles Boykin did sign a contract to be a part of the Bears, and he's way down the chart. But I did find it interesting. There was a Sports Illustrated article talking about Miles Boykin possibly getting a roster spot with the Bears, believe it or not. And it's not because of his great receiving skills, even though he is able to be a good receiver. It's because of what he provides in the run game and the fact that he can, block for runners or block for other receivers. He helps set the table. That is something that Ben Johnson relies on. And as you know, in Detroit, he had guys like that were doing that, from Amon-Ra St. Brown, even all the way down to Tim Patrick and company. No block, no rock is what we've heard so far this offseason from Ben Johnson, and it's being instilled in these players. So Miles Boykin could be a sneaky add to the roster. He could be a guy that beats out Tyler Scott, and have a place there, not only as being a blocker in those offensive schemes, but he could also carve out a role with the special teams. I could see this being a guy that Richard Hightower would love to work with, and be able to have him um, bring some toughness to the special teams unit. So everywhere he has been known more for what he does in the run game than what he does as a receiving threat. Um, that doesn't mean that there aren't packages that Ben Johnson can come up with, and Declan Doyle. I don't want to leave him off of this either, but this could be a possibility where they could scheme something up for Boykin and bring out some of his abilities that he's not really known for as a receiver. So I mean, it'd be an interesting take. Plus, I think the Tyler Scott experiment is over, and I could see Boykin being the guy that ends up getting to take that role away from Tyler Scott. I think he could be a returner as well. I mean, it remains to be seen. You have to see what the Bears end up coming up with, but I could definitely see Miles Boykin carving out a role, in the Bears wide receiver room. Let me know what you think down below. If you think I'm like way off my rocker, let me know. If you know somebody else that would be a better fit, or if you were a part of the I Love Tyler Scott fan club, then pound your chest and pound the table for Tyler Scott and let me know why you want to keep him, along with all of the fumbles that he's, caused in his young career. Sorry, that was a low blow, but it's the truth. Let me know what you think down below. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up here in just a moment. But before we do that, there are a lot of red flags that are going up online about the fact that second round picks are holding out to sign their deals because they want guaranteed contracts. It's pretty. I think they showed that it was like 30 out of 35 players that were selected in the second round, because you've got to also you've got to think about those compensatory picks at the end of the round. So in case you're wondering, like, well, how is there 35 when there are 32 teams? That's why compensatory picks. So out of that, 30 of those 35 remain unsigned. That's pretty eye-opening. It's still only June. But the big holdup, and you guys may have heard about this. I know we've touched on it before, is that these second round picks are trying to get guaranteed contracts. As you know, first round picks all get guaranteed. Now we've got second rounders that are trying to vie for those guaranteed contracts. And I believe it was Carson Sweshinger, the linebacker from USCLA, that USCLA. I just put two damn football teams together. What is my deal? Let's try this again. The UCLA linebacker who was drafted by the Browns ended up getting a fully guaranteed contract. And now that that's happened, all these second round picks are, and their agents are vying for that language, which is why there's a lot of holdup. So there's some unprecedented things coming down the pike that it'll be interesting to see how this all shakes out. But hitting home, we've got 3 second round picks that remain unsigned that are a part of this drama right now. And Luther Burden, Ozzie Trapillo, Shamar Turner all fall into that category. Now it's June the 25th. We're just 3.5 weeks away from training camp. Are you concerned about those picks not being in yet, being signed, and putting that to rest? I would say right now at this point, if I'm Ozzie Trapillo, I'm not, and I'm Ben Johnson, I'm not worried about Ozzie Trapillo. He's been practicing this off season. He is looking like a guy that can take that open left tackle position and become the starter week 1. I think that a guy like Shamar Turner, um, I'm pretty okay with him right now because he's been there and has worked. I'm sure he's got a lot of work to do, but that's why we have training camp. But I think the guy that I'm concerned about the most is Luther Burden. And I think the biggest reason being is because he's had the soft tissue injury. He has not practiced. He did there that those final days when they had rookies staying behind. He did get out there a little bit, but still he's missed a significant amount of time that that might set him back. And then if you're talking about a contract dispute on top of that, I am really concerned. Um, But right now, again, it's June the 25th. We've got 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks until these rookies are coming in on the 19th of July. So there's still plenty of time. Would you be concerned, guys? Or if we're really seeing some drama here, would we see the Bears doing what maybe the Bengals might be doing with Jamar Stewart? I highly doubt it. I think these guys are going to get in. I think they're just everybody's trying to navigate these uncharted waters with trying to get guaranteed second round picks. So I'm not super concerned. It's just a matter of who's going to go ahead and make the first move. Who's going to be brave enough to offer this to player A, player B, and down the line. Because once that starts happening and everybody sees how this is shaking out, I think these guys are going to start signing quickly. But you know, as of right now, not a big deal, but it's still lingering there. So let me know what you think on that. It's probably not a big deal. You may think it is, and give me your reasons why. But I think right now we're just going to have to be on standby and stay put. So that's all I have for today, guys. This was a pretty straightforward day, talking about some players that might be able to carve out a role, and also a guy on there that is not signed yet, but he could be an impactful player. Especially there in the linebacking course. So, as always, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe, and definitely send me comments. A lot of you guys have been starting to get on the ball with that and sending me some of your thoughts. I've been loving it, whether we agree or not. It's great seeing fans conversing with fans, and I can't wait to continue to build this. So, guys, that's all I've got today. Let's go ahead and get out of here. Have a great day, and as always, bear down.